Today we're going to talk about another game that deserves to be remade in the future, or for young kids. Mr. Nutz. Yes. Now go away. Stupid ads. As I was saying, and of course, the game came out in 1994, 93, whatever year it came out. Been a long time since I had to talk about another platforming game. And that you've seen all before already. Before Conker had his own franchise of a few games, Mr. Nutz was the very first platforming squirrel to have his own kid-friendly type of game, where you collect coins, extra lives, and lots of acorns for weapons. I already know that most people that review this game, and that Harvey knows that this game existed. This game is on both systems, Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. And jump on enemies, throw at your acorns at other... The classic old platforming games reach to point A to point B. That's pretty much all you do in this game. Now, I gotta admit, the graphics are pretty great for a 90s game. You could try to find some hidden secrets, you try to find all the coins you collect, and to serve some purpose that you'll have to earn extra lives in this game. And Mr. Nutz can use his tail, whipping attack, which I find pretty neat. That's been lots of platforming games since the 90s of Sonic and Mario. All have their own franchise of good games. But sadly, ones like him never get the chance to get their own franchise of good games. Mr. Nutz is a type of squirrel that wants to save the world from the abominable snow beast. He's Yeti. He's from freezing the world, I guess. Yeah, the game's story plot makes no sense, or kind of a little dull, but still, it's an interesting, good gameplay. I like the designs and backgrounds in this game. It's pretty neat. Not to mention there's like interesting bosses. A giant redneck spider. And every time you beat a stage you get a high score and time limit, even though there's no time limit in the game. It's amount of gold treasure for your treasure chest, of course. There's like about 8 levels in this game. Not quite sure. Or you could probably beat this game in less than an hour and 20 minutes, as long as you don't lose all your lives and your continues. I think the Sega Genesis has better graphics and better sound effects. Also, console war guys, if you're watching this right now, or probably not, you're probably doing other things with your lives, just doing chores and stuff. I'd like to make sure you guys would do this as a thing. You might not know who I am, but I'm Eli, that likes to review games from both consoles. Blah blah blah. Right back to the game. You swing across, on some ropes and here and there. That's all you do in this game is platforming. That you've seen many times before in any type of games. And I actually like this game on Sega Genesis. I never played it before, and he moves just like Sonic, going super fast. If you're playing this on the Sega Genesis, you might actually have a good time. Stupid commercials. This actually looks pretty fun. It has nice music, amazing graphics, weird looking enemies that you can fight off, including the bubble enemy. Weird. And sometimes deadly pets. But believe me, this game gets even weirder and weirder with these interesting enemies and bosses. My favorite one has to be the octopus, because it's underwater, of course. The boss music is pretty neat. But that doesn't top notch on how scary this game really gets, besides the octopus. There's the cloud level, which you'll find out why this game can be scary at times. Like this oversized nightmare-filled giant. Besides his terrifying face, and his oversized hand, and his eyes multiply popping out of his head. That's really creepy. That's really creepy. And this meant for kids? Really? Anyways. The final level is the circus. Where you have to... Okay. Well, not really the final level, but you'll face a clown. Like every video game, you have to fight a clown as a boss, avoiding his pies or cakes. The way you can hurt him is jumping and while attacking his heads. Ignore that sneezing back there. Again. Okay, the true final level is the Snow Mountain level. The game doesn't mess around on how hard it gets. I have to fight these guys in coats. And yeah, I know what they are. You'll fight penguins. And another stupid commercial wasting my time. And I'm trying to explain the gameplay here. And they just keep on playing these annoying, unskippable commercials. While avoiding sharp ice. And here we go, the final boss is the Yeti. Only way you can defeat this guy, okay, Mr. Blizzard, is every time he'll jump, you can jump on his head, and like only twice. But if you're standing there, there's no way you can avoid his attacks, and you're pretty much screwed over. So make sure you jump at the right moment to defeat Mr. Blizzard. Just don't do like Mr. Nutz did, keep falling to his doom into bottomless pits. And it's kind of weird that Cloud back there has a... Okay, both Clouds have faces on. But once you defeat him, that's pretty much the end of the game. Yeah, it just ends there. And it says, and right where it cuts off, Mr. Nutz' adventure ends. But his quest will continue. But planning a sequel, which actually did happen by Mega Drive and fan-made game. And that was Mr. Nutz, the Sega Genesis. I love it. It's pretty great, it's fun. It's weird at times to clean the bosses. One that's Nightmare Fuel with the eyes popping out. It's actually a pretty good game. So I had to give Mr. Nutz, since it's a pretty great platforming game, a 7 out of 10. Nice music and everything else about it is great. And an ability to get small. Well, I'll see you guys when I talk about another interesting forgotten video game platforming style that deserves to have a franchise or remade into 2D hand-drawn or 3D graphics. See you around!